You are welcome to the Lord TV, your number one fantastic reality TV that gives you all that it takes to be enlightened on trending news such as politics, entertainment, sports, and what have you. If you are new on this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button as well as already subscribed. So please don't forget to drop your comments anytime I drop new videos. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Viewers, today's headline reads: Ushers discovers human head under the church altar of Pastor Frank Obatobi. The news in details. Many of us cannot tell the difference between a God-serving church and otherwise because we keep hearing back things about the so-called man of God. A church name, God's Army Apostolic Church, received the wrath of God when some ushers discovered that a human head was under the church altar, a place where the pastor stands and preaches from. The pastor's name was identified as Frank Obatobi, who was arrested immediately after the discovery by the police on 15th February 2020, with people opening their mouths wide and angry for how they have been deceived by this so-called man of God. Can you imagine human head found in a church where we are to lift up holy hands and pray? A den of the devil. How did it happen? Saturdays by 6 a.m., all ushers gather to take care of the church, which includes cleaning the pulpits and surroundings. But as they lifted up the pulpits, they saw this skull, and of course, this amazed them, and people started gathering, and then pastor was called and beaten up before the arrival of police officers. Church is meant to be a place of worship, but Africa in many cases turn it to business center where they want to make money by doing some devilish things in the name of God. In Nigeria, we have a lot of churches and we have to pray we don't fall victim of all these fake pastors and fake churches. Should we stay at home and pray, or what should we do? Thank you for listening to this news. Viewers, I won't say that you should stay at home and pray. And I will say that it's a must that you must go to church before you pray. It's in two ways. It's now between you and your God. What really matters as a Christian is the relationship that you build between you and God. The relationship that exists between you and God. What is that relationship? The sincerity, the sincere relationship that you have between you and God. How sincere is the relationship? How authentic? That is what matters. So if you discover that you are having a good relationship with God, a good rapport with God, going to church should be secondary. It's not a must that you must go to church. What matters is your relationship with God. Because going to church is just to go and get yourself noticed that you participated in worship on that day. God can still visit you anywhere you are. He can visit you in your closet. He can visit you in your office, in your living room. He can even visit you in the toilet. What really matters is your relationship with God. How authentic is your relationship with God? When do you need God? A church is not just a particular place. A church can be anywhere. But that place must be a place where the presence of God is invited. A church is the coming together of one or two persons. When two or three people come together in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that particular place automatically becomes a church. A church is not just it's not a building. A church is not an edifice. A church is not a structure. A church is not just a beautiful place. No. A church is the coming together of human. When you and some other person come together, you make a church. But your coming together must be in the name of God. So it's not a must that you must attend a church before God can visit you. So we human beings are the people getting it wrong, and that's why we end up falling into the wrong hands. And that's why we end up being deceived. And who told us that we cannot pray and God for God to hear and answer us? No, nobody can pray for you to be answered. You can pray for God to answer your prayers. It's just because of our belief. We believe that it's only when He prays for me that is when God can answer my prayer. No, it's wrong. We should not get it wrong. We should not. We should not allow that to affect us. We should stop believing that. We should believe that we can pray direct to God. If you pray directly to your God with a clean heart and a sincere heart, our God in heaven will hear you and He will answer you. You don't need to start moving from one church to the other. You don't need to run helter-skelter looking for one man of God to lay his hand on you for you to be delivered before your prayer can be heard. My dear, you can be delivered. You can deliver yourself. All you need is holy communication. Holy communication with God. You go down on your knees with a heart full of sincerity. Pray to your God quietly. He will hear and He will answer your prayers. Look at what has just happened with Pastor Frank Obatobi. The same thing happens to other pastors. Nigeria has taken church as a very lucrative business. Nigerians have taken establishment of church as a very lucrative business. Even men of God now are more influential and richer than our politicians today. And we are the people that are enriching them. And we that are enriching them are not even are not cannot even are not even up to or cannot even afford 2 square meal a day. But when you go to the house of a man of God, believe you me, you will see that the food in that man of God's house can even serve 10 square meal a day. So I'm not saying that we should not go to church or give what is necessary to be given to God in church, but we should try to understand what this Christianity is all about. Nigerians have taken church as a business, as a lucrative business, whereby everybody now want to become a pastor. Maybe if a boy or a woman, if a man or a woman graduates from the university and maybe he finds it difficult in getting a job, the next thing that comes into his head is, let me become a man of God. I've started seeing vision. Yes, this is what God has said I should do. Before you know it, he has established a church. Why did he establish a church? Just to earn a living. So we should be careful. We should be mindful of how we move to different churches. Even if we want to go to church, let's remain with one particular church. We should not practice church prostitution. Let's remain with a particular congregation. Practice the faith of that congregation and serve your God properly with that congregation. Don't believe that it's only your pastor that can do it. Believe that you can do it, because God hears your prayer based on your faith in God and your personal relationship with God. So what happened with Pastor Frank Obatobi is the same thing that still happens to other pastors. They are all the same. All we just need to do is, let's be careful and be prayerful, and let's stop going to different churches. Let's remain with one church. And for this thing that happened to Pastor Frank Obatobi, I will say that if we look at it in the other way, according to the story, the human head was found under the church altar while the church is being cleaned. If you look at it in the other way around, you see that normally the pastor cannot be so stupid enough to have still left the human head under the altar while he knows that the church, the parishioners will be coming to clean the church. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that this pastor or man of God can still be framed. It can still be that that he is framed, that someone might have put that under the altar so that it will be his name will be tarnished. Yes, we can still look at it in the other in that direction. Because if really the man of God is truly doing that, before the church parishioners comes and start cleaning the church, he must have removed it, because he will know that they will clean down to that place. They will still want to clean the altar. I don't know if you're getting me. So let's still look at it in that direction. And if the police people are carrying out their investigations, they should still look at it in that direction, and um, still try to see how the man of God can still be justified, because there is still room for him to be justified, and his case should be lifted. So please, I don't know what your own comment may be concerning this issue. So please don't forget to leave them behind. Click on the subscription buttons as well as the bell buttons to receive more updates. Thank you.